Get ready for Democrats' new strategy, blaming future Bidenflation on a GOP Congress. God willing, there's going to be a red wave this election cycle, this midterm. As long as there aren't any election shenanigans going on, I foresee a red wave, and they're already getting ready to start blaming inflation on Republicans, even though everyone knows, they have to know by now that they are the cause, they are the reason behind the crazy inflation that's going on right now. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. And there's also a link to my Instagram where I put out news throughout the day that'll keep you informed. So follow me there. All right, let's talk about this news. With the 2022 midterms steadily approaching, leftists throughout the political and corporate media spheres are already prepared to blame any and all future rising inflation on Republicans should Democrats lose control of Congress. During an event in Los Angeles on Thursday, President Joe Biden began to lay the groundwork for this new strategy. While attempting to talk up a previously passed infrastructure package, the Democrat president claimed that, quote, if Republicans win control of Congress next month, quote, inflation is going to get worse. It's that simple. Like, are you for real? He can't make this stuff up. He goes on to say, folks, Republicans are going to make you working middle class folks pay higher taxes and the biggest corporations. And by the way, in every single piece of legislation I've gotten passed with the help of people here, we have not raised the tax on anybody making less than 400,000 bucks a year, one penny. And that's an outright lie. That's an outright lie. But Biden asserted, despite a report from Congressional Budget Office analyzing the effects of the Democrats' wrongly term Inflation Reduction Act showing otherwise. I mean, it's already going up because of this stupid act. I mean, he just lie on top of lie on top of lie, and because he knows that the media is going to cover for him, so he can say whatever he wants, and there aren't going to be any fact checks going on here like it was under Trump. According to a new report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, yearly inflation ending in September is up to 8.2%, while core inflation, which factors out energy and food prices, rose to 6.6%, the highest mark since 1982. Since Biden took office in January of last year, the prices of everyday commodities from food to gasoline and energy have all skyrocketed to levels not seen in decades. It's a mess, and everyone knows it. Despite such cataclysmic, awful numbers, Biden and company have repeatedly tried to downplay the economic effects inflation has had on average Americans. During a 60 Minutes interview last month, for instance, the president proclaimed that the month-to-month inflation rates was, quote, up just an inch, hardly at all. What does that mean? What does up an inch actually mean? That's not a financial term, up an inch. So you can say something like this and it's meaningless, just to cover your butt. But since his inauguration, Biden, along with a Democrat-controlled Congress, has wasted no time in spending trillions of dollars to fund left-wing pet projects that have done nothing to address the needs of the American people. In addition to roughly $740 billion deceptively named Inflation Reduction Act, which I talk about all the time, Democrats also passed a $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan during the early months of the Biden administration. So let me ask you, what has any of this stuff done to help with anything? Nothing. And in fact, it actually made the situation worse. Taking their messaging cues from Biden, the country's corporate media and political elites throughout Washington, D.C. have adopted the administration's new tactic and are forecasting an even worse economy under GOP-controlled Congress. During a recent segment on MSNBC, network host Chris Hayes said he feels, quote, confident in predicting that if Republicans win control of one or both houses of Congress this fall, they will do everything in their power to sabotage the economy to best set them up to retake the White House in 2024. That makes no sense. If that makes no sense, we are not. This is what the leftists tried to do under Trump. We won't do the same thing to them. We want a thriving economy. With Democratic National Committee spokesman Amar Mosa echoed similar sentiments in remarks provided to the Washington Examiner, claiming that Republicans have, quote, repeatedly made clear they want to gut Social Security and Medicare and even increase prescription drug costs for millions of Americans. Well, who said? Where'd he get that from? I never heard a Republican say anything about gutting Social Security. I never heard him say anything about gutting Medicare. I heard, and I never heard a Republican come out and say, "Yeah, I want to increase your medication costs." So they just say this stuff, and they don't give you any sources or anything like that. They just say whatever they want to say when no one fact checked in this stuff. And quote, time and time again, Republicans have showed they will side with special interests to raise costs on American families, while President Biden and Democrats work tirelessly to lower costs. The stakes of this fall election could not be higher, he said. So all you have to do to bust this narrative up is say, are you better off now with the Democrats controlling the Senate, controlling the House and the presidency, or were you better when Trump and the Republicans was running the things? That's all you have to do, and that busts that narrative wide open. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out democrapublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace. Oh,